Hello, I'm Kimberly, and welcome to the weekend edition of the NAVE News Update. It's Friday, July 8th, and many of the stories you hear here can be found at IndianCountryNews.com. And here's the news for today from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. In 2014, the Blood Tribe in Canada had become an epicenter of public health crisis that continues to spread across Canada. But the 7,500 residents of the reserve who lost 35 members to painkiller overdoses in 2015 have turned the tide, showing how a community can rally against drug abuse in the face of immense hurdles. For years, dealers sold painkillers like oxycodone at steep markups across this sprawling territory. But 3 years ago, oxycodone manufacturers introduced tablets that couldn't be snorted or injected. Drug dealers then switched to fentanyl, a painkiller 50 times more potent than heroin. With funding from the Reserve's semi-autonomous government, Dr. Esther Tailfeathers put together 200 emergency overdose kits, including a pre-filled syringe of naloxone, an opiate antidote, a CPR mask, and instructions on how to use them. The authorities distributed the kits to places where they suspected fentanyl was being used. The Reserve also launched 2 confidential hotlines, one to help addicts quit, the other to report traffickers. At the pharmacy outside Tailfeather's office, a line forms every morning as recovering addicts get their daily dose of Suboxone, an opiate used to wean people off of more dangerous drugs. The Reserve's last fentanyl-related death occurred 8 months ago. Overdoses have dropped since the winter from once a day to once every few weeks. The city of Fargo in North Dakota is honored for helping improve the lives of Native Americans living in the city. The Native American Commission won an Outstanding Achievement Award for City Livability from the U.S. Conference of Mayors. Commission member Willard Yellowbird says the group is the first of its kind in the country to focus on Native American residents. The Commission has helped sponsor events like the Crossroads Powwow and works to improve access to education, health care, and social services for Natives. Yellowbird estimates that there are between 3,000 and 4,000 Native Americans living in Fargo. The National Center for American Indian Enterprise Development recently received a $75,000 grant from the UPS Foundation. The grant will be used to further develop the Native Edge, the National Center's innovative online platform designed to give Indian country the edge in business. The website features 4 components: the Higher Edge, the Native-to-Native Edge community, the Training Edge, and the Procurement Edge. Basic membership is free of charge and includes access to the Higher Edge and Native-to-Native Edge community. Access to the Training Edge and Procurement Edge is possible through a low monthly or yearly subscription fee. In addition to the Native Edge, the National Center hosts the largest economic development event in Indian country, the Reservation Economic Summit. The next regional Res Oklahoma, will take place from July 11th through the 14th at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino just outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma. For more information, you can check out NCAIED.org. The Pueblo of Santa Ana has become the latest U.S. tribe to buy back ancestral land and intends to keep the high desert tract in its natural state and petition the federal government to officially place it under the Pueblo's jurisdiction through a trust. There are no plans for any economic development on what has long been considered one of New Mexico's legacy ranches. Instead, the Pueblo planned to maintain the tract's vast open spaces, use part of it for ceremonies, and develop a wildlife management plan. In the past 7 years, more than 415,000 acres of land have been taken into trust for tribes under the Obama administration. Top Interior Department officials say they aim to raise that figure to 500,000 acres before the end of the president's term in January. The Lori Piestewa National Native American Games will take place July 15th through the 17th, hosted in and around Fort McDowell and Salt River reservations, as well as the Fountain Hills community in Arizona. Hundreds of athletes are expected to come out and take part in this year's event, one that has become a summer tradition in honor of fallen soldier Lori Piestewa. Lori Piestewa, a member of the Hopi tribe, was the first Native American woman in history to die in combat while serving with the U.S. military, and the first woman in the U.S. Armed Forces killed in the 2003 invasion of Iraq. This 3-day sports festival hosts multiple events for athletes to participate in, including basketball, baseball, cross-country, softball, track and field, volleyball, wrestling, and more. For more information, you can check out azsportsent.com. And that's another roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the NAVE News Update. I'd like to thank you for joining me, and have a grand day.